Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Cheapskate.
Hey, I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10.
What happened to those cute child stars who seemed to have it all? The ones who lit up the screen with their charming performances and smiles. Sadly, not all of them had fairy tale endings. For some, the road to stardom took a dark turn, leading to careers that ended in tragedy. Number 1. Macaulay Culkin. Remember that cute little kid from the Home Alone movies back in the 90s? The one who set up all those genius traps to outsmart the robbers? Yeah, that was Macaulay Culkin. He was an absolute star with his perfect comedic timing and personality. It seemed like he was going to be a huge deal for years to come. But behind the scenes, things weren't so picture perfect for the child actor. You see, alongside his massive success at such a young age, Macaulay was dealing with some heavy stuff. He had issues with substance abuse, and on top of that, his relationship with his dad, who was also his manager, was super strained. Can you imagine having your parent as your boss when you're just a kid? As if that wasn't enough drama, there was a very messy legal battle over Macaulay's multi-million-dollar trust fund, and his parents were fighting over custody of him. It was one big ugly situation that played out in the public eye. With all that pressure and personal turmoil, it's no wonder Macaulay's career started going downhill in the late 90s. In 1995, he took a 6-year break from acting altogether. He just wanted to disappear from the spotlight and have a chance at a normal childhood for once. But you can't keep a talented guy like that down forever. After taking some much needed time for himself, Macaulay made a big comeback. He's totally owning his status as a cultural icon these days, poking fun at himself on social media and teaming up with cool brands like Happy Socks. More importantly, he's been sober and killing it with interesting roles on shows like American Horror Story and Dollface. Macaulay's story just goes to show that being a child star isn't all rainbows and butterflies. Sure, he achieved crazy success at a young age, but he also had to deal with a ton of personal struggles that ruined his career for good. Thankfully, his resilience and true passion for acting helped him push through the darkness and make an epic comeback on his terms. Number 2. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes was the ultimate teen comedy queen back in the early 2000s. From her hilarious sketch shows on Nickelodeon to hit movies like She's the Man and Easy A, Bynes had us all cracking up with her perfect comedic timing and charm. She seemed destined for a long, successful career in Hollywood. You see, behind the scenes, Amanda was struggling with some personal issues that started surfacing in the mid-2000s. She got arrested multiple times for DUIs and other driving violations, and her behavior became increasingly erratic and concerning. There were reports of substance abuse problems and mental health issues that she was dealing with. Things really came to a head in 2014 when Amanda had one of her infamous public meltdowns, the bizarre incident where she randomly set a neighbor's driveway on fire. It was clear she needed help. That's when she was placed under a conservatorship and got treatment to address her mental health struggles. Amanda later revealed she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was taking medication to manage her symptoms. For several years after that, Amanda remained largely out of the spotlight, focusing on her health and personal life. She hasn't appeared in a movie or TV show since her role in Easy A back in 2010, which is a real bummer for her fans. Despite achieving her childhood dream of becoming a comedy queen, she faced many battles that took her away from her blossoming career in its prime. Number 3. Mara Wilson. Who could forget the adorable and talented Mara Wilson? She was the ultimate cute kid on the big screen back in the 90s. Whether she was playing the title role in Matilda, the quirky daughter in Mrs. Doubtfire, or helping spread Christmas cheer in Miracle on 34th Street, Mara had a natural charm beyond her years. But sadly, Mara's experience as a child star wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. she's been really open about the darker side of navigating Hollywood at such a young age. The constant pressure to look and act a certain way, the paparazzi invading her privacy, creepy fans giving her unwanted attention. It was a lot for a little kid to handle. On top of that, Mara had to deal with some incredibly tough personal struggles too. Losing her mom to cancer and battling anxiety and depression, it's no wonder she took a step back from acting in the early 2000s to focus on her mental health and education. These days, Mara is using her voice and personal experiences to advocate for important causes like mental health awareness and body positivity. She's been so brave in sharing her journey and the challenges she faced, becoming a beacon of hope for anyone, especially young people going through similar things. Number 4. Corey Haim. Corey Haim was the ultimate 80s heartthrob and child star. From roles in classics like The Lost Boys and License to Drive to more complex characters in films like Lucas, Corey seemed destined for a successful career in Hollywood. But his life took some dark, tragic turns behind the scenes. For starters, Corey revealed he was abused as a child. Can you imagine having to deal with something so traumatic at just 11 years old? That's the kind of thing that can really mess with someone's head and haunt them forever. On top of that horrific experience, Corey struggled with addiction issues for most of his career. It started with experimenting with drugs and alcohol as a teenager on set, but it quickly spiraled out of control. By his admission, he was popping up to 85 pills a day at one point. Absolutely insane. Despite periods of trying to get clean, the addiction seemed to have a tight grip on Corey. It got so bad that his former co-star and friend, Corey Feldman, had to cut ties with him for his own family's safety around Corey's erratic behavior. Can you imagine losing one of your closest friends because of your mistakes? Sadly, Corey's addictions and inner turmoil caught up with him. In 2010, at just 38 years old, he passed away from a combination of issues related to his substance abuse problems. He was such a talented guy with his whole life ahead of him, but he went way too soon because of those dark, personal struggles. Number 5. Edward Furlong. The story of Edward Furlong is just sad. This kid had made it after landing that huge role as John Connor in Terminator 2 at just 13 years old. Can you imagine? One minute you're just a regular kid, the next you're acting alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of the biggest blockbuster movies of all time. He went on to work with absolute legends like Jeff Bridges, Meryl Streep, Edward Norton. Pretty much every big name you can think of wanted to work with this rising young star. His early fame and stardom really set him up for a path of personal struggles and drama once he hit adulthood, and the signs were there from the start. Eddie's home life was already a mess. There was a heated custody battle going on between his birth mom and the uncle who was raising him, all sparked by the news that he scored that life-changing role. Unsurprisingly, his personal life was a toxic disaster that ended with domestic abuse allegations and legal battles. From there, Eddie's life just completely fell apart. Substance abuse issues led to rehab stints and arrests for dumb stunts like drunkenly trying to free lobsters at a grocery store. But the saddest part has to be the implosion of his marriage to Rachel Bella. Amid domestic violence, drug binges, and just general messiness, the dark cloud over their relationship got so bad that their young son tested positive for cocaine after being around Eddie. What started as a literal dream come true for this kid, starring in one of the biggest blockbuster movies ever, completely devolved into decades of personal chaos, legal troubles, and career ends. Eddie's path is honestly a tragic, sobering example of how childhood stardom and getting thrown into the spotlight way too young can completely derail someone if they don't have the right support system around them. It's such a shame to see that level of talent, success, and opportunity completely fizzle out in such a dark way. Hollywood can be extremely unforgiving, especially when it comes to former child stars trying to transition to adult roles. It's hard enough to stay relevant and in demand when you're an ex-kid actor, but when you get labeled as a notorious party animal on top of that, it's an uphill battle. That concludes today's video. If you enjoyed our content, consider subscribing to our channel and stay connected. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.